Hey guys, this is Ash and you're watching WriterGAsh. It has been a minute since I've been on BookTube. It's been a long minute. But with everything that's going on right now and with the reading rush right around the corner, I thought this was the perfect time to jump right back in, at least during the BookTube-a-thon, and read a little. I haven't had the time to read a lot lately, but having a challenge to meet really gives me the motivation to get back into reading, to get some books in, and to escape the real world, to be frank. So without further ado, let's get into the reading challenges for this year. The first challenge is to read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. My birthstone is blue, which for September, and I looked at a lot of books, and what really stood out to me was 10 things I hate about Pinky. And it's by Sangaminan. And my first booktubeathon I read when Dimple met Rishi, which brings it all in a full circle. So this book basically has, as you can see in this picture, a girl in a denim jacket, which is blue, with blue pins and some blue streaks in her hair. And the plot really just seems really interesting to me. And I'm really excited about it. Although the book doesn't get released until the 21st of July, which is in the middle of BookTubeathon, so if I can get my hands on the book, I'll read it. If I can't, I have some other book coming later in this video that would meet the requirement for the blue cover. Moving on, the second challenge for BookTubeathon is to read a book that starts with the word "the." I thought it was gonna be so easy to find a book that starts with "the," but I had to look. I really had to look to find one. And I ended up choosing The Blind Date Diaries by Brenda St. John Brown. And the story seems really interesting and it feels like a page turner. I am trying to go towards more contemporaries because I read them quicker and I can read them at night, and it just seems like the best way to get 7 books done. So I'm gonna try doing more contemporaries than other genres, even though I've been reading mysteries nonstop lately. Moving on to the third challenge. Read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen. And for this I'm gonna go with Sight Unseen, an Emma Fielding mystery. And it's one of those Hallmark mystery movies, and I've been watching Hallmark mystery movies all summer. So I went through and saw all the movies I'd already watched and looked up the books. And this seems like the most interesting one. It's by Dana Cameron. So the next challenge is to read the first book I touch. For that, I have 3 books: Four Dead Queens, Shadow of the Fox, and The Gilded Wolves. Oh, that's got the in the name. So I'm going to be putting them in front of me and closing my eyes and picking one up, and that's the book I'm going to be reading. I'm going to shuffle them a little bit and then have my pick. So it looks like I'm going to be reading Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz, and I got this from an Owlcrate box last year. All these books are from Owlcrate, and I haven't gotten to them yet, so this means I'm going to be reading this next week. Challenge is to read a book completely outside of your house. Currently, I have Crushing It by Lorelei Parker, and I'm hoping I can read this, but if I seem to run out of time, I'm also going to be reading the book I've touched first outside of my house. And because of COVID reasons, I'm going to be reading the book entirely in my car and avoid people while I do that. Maybe I'll go to a spot with great light, like great view, and just sit there and read, or maybe somewhere on campus on a park bench or something. But I'm hoping to read these 2 books completely outside. So in case I can't get to this book, I will be able to read that book outside and meet that challenge. The next is to read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. And I love fantasy and sci-fi and all of those genres, and lately I seem to not be reading any of it. And especially sci-fi. I still read fantasy every now and then, but sci-fi I haven't read since 2018. So I am going to be reading Nexus from the Andromeda Saga by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I read the first book, Zenith, and I loved it, and I was really excited to read the next one when it came out, but I just never got around to it. So for the final challenge, I have to read a book that takes place on a different continent than where you live. At first, I thought I was gonna read something from Europe, but then when I came to think of it, I have never read a book set in Australia. Then I looked at books that were located in Australia and picked out The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, so I'm really excited to read something set in Australia and to expand my reading locations. Okay, so now that we know my goal TBR, let's discuss some ways I can double count a few things. The Rosie Project starts with the, so that would replace the Blind Date Diaries if I can't get to it. I'm really hoping to read 10 Things I Hate About Pinky, but Sight Unseen also has a blue cover, which means that it could count as my birthstone book. So that brings it down to 5 books, which seems more achievable. And then I was also planning on double counting Four Dead Queens in case I can't get to crushing it when it comes to reading outside. And double counting these books brings me down to 4 books, which makes it a bit more achievable, but I'm still gonna try to meet my 7-book goal since I've done that every year since I started doing BookTubeathon. And I don't wanna let go of the streak, but I know realistically with everything else, it might not be the most achievable thing to do, and I guess I'm still gonna attempt it though. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any comments about the books on my list, please comment down below so I can know your opinions about them and whether or not you like them. And I hope you guys follow my journey through BookTube, through the reading rush this year. See ya!